Great. Welcome everyone to another exciting open discussion. And it's a very interesting topic that we are going to discuss and talk about today, which is the connection between healing ourselves and law of attraction. And this is pretty much a very advanced level stuff. So I would want you guys to listen to all of these things, whatever we discussed today, with a lot of awareness, with a lot of attention, alertness, and have an open mind. Listen to it from an open heart. So any preconceived notions that you have either about the healing process or about law of attraction. So for the sake of this conversation, keep all of those things aside for a moment and listen to this from a fresh perspective. And a lot of people here, I'm sure if this topic interested you, then you already are into a healing journey and you already are aware of certain things, some or the other at different levels, maybe about how the universal laws work and all that. So this is in particular one of my favorite topics to talk about. And unfortunately, there's a lot of, how should I say, polarities and confusion and perspectives and like literally contradictory information, perspectives, and everything out there which is available with so many different people. And the information that I see going around in this particular area feels very ambiguous and vague to me. And I'm not just talking about this because I've read books and I have just understood these things, but I'm talking about this because literally my journey started at the age of 17 with law of attraction, and I've been on an actual healing journey from last maybe 6-7 years or something, a proper one, when I got guidance from the right people and everything in my life. So I've seen both the sides. I've seen why in so many areas law of attraction has amazingly worked for me, but in so many areas and for so long it literally didn't. And how actually I integrated the healing process into all of this stuff that I was learning and integrating it. And that's what and I'm pretty sure Akarma has a similar thing, although he does not come from the hardcore like a freaky geeky background like me, about studying about all of these things, but he has seen these things at a more practical level. And there's a lot that he helped me to understand so many of these things at different layers and everything. So we are going to include all of these things together for you guys so that you also can do this work at a more practical, holistic level. And because there is a lot of contradictory information out there, so we will try answering your questions and looking into these contradictory information which floats all around. So that's the intention of today's session. Like all of the conversations, I guess maybe 1 or 2 new people have joined us today. How this conversation goes is basically we keep it open-ended. So a little bit I'll share from my side what I can, then we will take forward the communication. We want all of you guys to engage in this conversation, ask your questions openly, share your experiences, and we will take it forward that way. So that's the format of this call. And if you want to speak, ask a question or share your story experience, then you can just raise your hand and then we will call your name. Okay, now coming to today's topic. The connection between healing process and the law of attraction. So before we go forward, let's in a very simple language understand what are the two different things that we are talking about. So the first thing that we are talking about today is healing ourselves. Healing ourselves. And what does it mean to heal ourselves? What does it mean to go on a healing journey, to go through a healing process? In simple terms, every time. So we are born naturally, in a certain way with certain attributes, traits, with a natural, free-flowing style of living in life. Of course, we all are very much different from each other. But we have this, free style when we are born, and we are like dancing and flowing and fluid, and gelling up with life, observing and having fun as children and everything. And as while we are growing up, because we are a clean slate, we just go in every direction and we are free, right? But then the moment we are said, denied, disowned, rejected, neglected, um, talked harshly, we feel that we are not seen, we are not heard, we are not loved, we are not accepted for who we are not acknowledged for our presence. It doesn't matter to the people around us. Now, what happens that we are naturally born in a vibrational energy of connection. So imagine yourself as a small kid. Everything that you used to see as a child, as a 1-year-old, you did not see yourself as a separate identity and ego and everything, right? So it was all very simple and fluid, like the whole world was connected to each other and all that. Now, every time all of these different kind of traumas occur to us, we create coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, or we can also, what we call in our terminology, we say it, we split ourselves. So basically, imagine yourself as a small child and you are, wanting that you're loved, you're accepted, you are a part of the family and everything. But then at that point of time, you're just, neglected, rejected, disregarded, and it's just, something really bad occurs to you. And at that point of time, to cope up with it, because acceptance is the most important thing as a human, love and connection and everything, we create a split inside us to handle that situation. So now there was one person, and now the psyche for a particular thing has split into two. One is the traumatized part, another is the coping part, the protector mechanism that is born out of it. And like we split into two, so this protector part or the coping part that we have becomes a dominant part, but the one that is traumatized goes deeper down the layer. And what we do with ourselves, we, just like people in our external environment disregarded, rejected, disowned us, we also suppress and hide this part deep within our being, which becomes our subconscious later on. And we also do the same thing with this part of us, which had gone through that trauma. Likewise, now imagine, every time something like this occurs in our life, to deal with the particular situation, we, just like somebody else made us feel neglected, disregarded, disowned, or whatever, there is this part of us which was hurt and which felt, that heat, that pain at that point of time, and we again disowned it. And just because we wanted to feel loved and accepted from people outside, we created this shield, we created this guard, we created these things which we also call insecure attachment style, which we also call our coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, 𝗕𝗹𝗿, strong shield, strong guard, guarding ourselves. And everything, the real thing, everything that was natural, normal, starts going in the subconscious. Now, the funny part is that the subconscious we not only disregard, disown, reject the negative aspects, but at the same point of time, the positive aspects as well. So it's like, layers, deeper, 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 deeper. And as we grow as adults, there's a certain way life shapes us. We are taught and we are, we learn things. People tell us how to behave, how to live, how to, how to talk, how to walk, and how to think, and so on and so forth. All of these things are fed onto our being while we grow up on this journey. And the more we grow, the more we pick up and attach ourselves to the identity of who I am, and this is how I'm supposed to be, and this is what I should do, and this is what I should not do. And so long list. And we literally, like an onion, we keep putting layers and layers and layers and layers over ourselves, and हम अपने आप को ऊपर से देखते हैं. We look at ourselves from the surface level and we kind of like say, see, this is the outcome, this is who I am, this is my identity, this is Anamika, this is a karma, this is X, this is Y, this is Z. And that's how we now go out and present ourselves in the world. And we say, this is who I am. But all of those aspects of us, which are hidden deep beneath the inner child, the shadows, the dark sides, the parts, different splits that we have, different fragments that we have. The thing is, they don't go anywhere. They're just hidden beneath the subconscious. And we continue to operate with the coping mechanism because we don't want to feel that same pain and hurt again. But the thing is, say for whatever areas and whatever things in our life that hurt got created, it overpowers us every time we get triggered. Every time we get triggered, the same child comes up on the surface and says, oh, I'm going to fight. I'm feeling hurt, and the protector child comes up and I'm going to deal with the same way. Now, regardless of the fact whether the solution works or not, because we don't know now any other solution. That's what we were taught since a child. So healing work in simple terms means making the unconscious conscious, bringing awareness, bringing light to all the areas which were unseen, unheard, unloved, denied, disowned, rejected, disregarded, neglected, felt like they were not loved enough, they were not trusted enough, and so on and so forth. So healing ourselves is what? Bringing awareness to all of these different areas that we have. So this was a little bit of brief about what healing actually is. So when we do the healing work, we say that the natural, normal form that you had, that is always so free flowing, and that is so natural. There's nothing wrong with it. So there was one lady who was asking me this question maybe a month or 1.5 months ago, that if you're saying that I need to heal myself, does that mean that there's something that I need to fix in myself? No, it's not about that there's something wrong and there's something that we need to fix and all that. No. What we are, what our natural essence is already there in our core. What we need to do during the healing process is remove the layers. Removing the layers automatically allows the natural thing to come up on the surface. Okay, now a little bit about the second part of the law of attraction, right? And how and when and why we get confused with the healing work. So when we talk about it's 𝗕𝗕, right? So 𝗕𝗕, can you please mute yourself? There's a little bit of a noise from your side. Thank you. अब जाते हैं second part में, which is the law of attraction part. So what is law of attraction? I'm pretty sure all of you who are here are aware of what it is. In simple terms, it's like attract like. So whatever you think, whatever way you feel, whatever way you act, and the way you vibrate, that is what you are going to attract to yourself. So this is like a very simple definition of what law of attraction is. Now, just like there are so many different laws, like for an example, law of gravity, there is law of attraction, which is a universal or spiritual law. Now, where is the contradiction? So a lot of people ask this question that if I do, this kind of healing work, if I'm on a healing journey, then doesn't that mean that I'm going to think and I'm going to feel all of those things and I'm going to, act accordingly, and I'm going to vibrate at the same old vibrational energy, and thus I'm going to attract more and more and more of the same thing in my life? So doesn't that mean that if I need to get out of this thing, I need to completely focus and think and give my attention to what I really want to bring in my life? True, very correct. That's how the universe operates. Now, the thing is, then in that case, both of these things are going in opposite directions. Then it's like when you do the shadow work, oh my God, all hell breaks down, and now everything that has happened to you is now going to repeat in your life. But the magical part is, that's not how life works. That's not even how this law works. So when we do the healing work, first of all, the first point that I would want all of you to understand, that healing work, okay, so a lot of people go by this idea also that healing is a lifelong process and all that, which is true. Healing is a lifelong process, but not one wound is not going to take you lifetimes. The moment you integrate it, the healing work is done for that wound. When you have substantially integrate a particular wound in you, that wound dissolves, that wound integrates and becomes a part of you, becomes the part of the union you, unity you. So that is the first thing. Healing work is lifelong, but for different wounds. Not the same wound is going to take you a whole life to heal, right? And first, the thing is that when you are aware of a certain wound, first of all, the first thing is awareness. To do this kind of work requires a lot of courage, a lot of awareness, a lot of bravery, honesty, integrity, and tons of power and strength to do this kind of work. So this is intense. Healing yourself is very intense. But the thing is that once you do it, once you deal with a particular split that you have, that split does not overpower you anymore, and you can only heal something which you have become aware of, which you can only heal things which you are able to feel, right? Because feelings are the portal which allow you to process all of these things. And that's why we, whenever we do all of these sessions, we have to constantly remind people, don't get indulged in the stories, because we are doing this work. If you indulge in the story again and you stop crying and complaining and going back in the direction, then we are going in the downward spiral. The idea for us is to remove and peel the layer completely and dissolve it, integrate it as a part of ourselves. So that's the first thing. Healing in definitely indeed takes lifetime, but healing a particular wound does not. Secondly, as I said, that this work requires a lot of courage, a lot of bravery, a lot of integrity, honesty, and humility and groundedness. So awareness, the moment you become present, the moment you become still, the moment you are able to be with yourself, that moment you already have changed your vibrational frequency. So how basically law of attraction works? So basically the thing is that we all are vibrating at a different frequency. We can put our body under the microscope and all we are going to see is vibrations. Now, it is not possible for a person who is vibrating at the scale of 100 to jump to the scale of 500, which is the frequency of joy. While the frequency of 100 is fear and disgust and pain and trauma and powerlessness. It's literally impossible for a person. We can, of course, pretend to do that. There's no doubt about it. All human beings are possible to access all states of consciousness, including enlightenment, whenever they want. But if at a very core deep level, we are vibrating at the level of 100, even if we can fake vibrating at 500, we have actually not reached there. If we want to reach the actual level of a higher frequency, what we need to do is we need to integrate the lower level of frequency first into a part of our being and make it our own. So slowly we have expanded, like from 100, let's suppose you have now moved to 150. Now from that level, new information, new data, new guidance will be given to you. Again, whatever comes to you, you integrate it again, your circle expands. Again, you repeat. Now at this, while doing this, while you're going up the ladder, you're not faking it, you're not pretending it. Your vibration truly is increasing, actually is expanding. But when we try to jump like long gaps, what we do is that we are not doing it because we want to integrate something as a part of us. We are doing it because हमें ना अभी का The current situation, we don't like it. And if we talk about the real law of attraction, the actual law of attraction, even if, let's suppose, you start blabbering around an affirmation like, I have tons of money, I have tons of money, I have tons of money. But inside, if you're vibrating that, oh, I'm so poor and that's why I want tons of money, what life is going to give you, according to the actual real law of attraction, I am so poor. Doesn't matter what you're blabbering. It's just blabbering. So it has to come from inside you. And for things to come from inside us, we need to clear the dirt we have, which the garbage that we are carrying inside us, the subconscious, behavior patterns, the splits and the trauma and the hurt and the baggage and so on and so forth. If we truly, truly want to apply law of attraction. Third important point. Now, we talked about moving up on the scale. Another thing, when you do the healing work, so basically another thing which law of attraction means, another words that we use for us is the law of reflection or law of mirroring. So the external world is simply going to reflect your internal world in simple terms. Now, in terms of relationships, the relationships that you have outside are going to reflect the relationship that you have with yourself. So let's suppose, let's talk about people pleasers for a moment. So why do people pleasers do everything to make everybody happy around them, right? And they have this mindset that if they please people, everybody would be happy around them, and they go by this mindset that pleasing people would make people happy. Then how come they are those people who are treated like doormats? That is because they think that, doing that would bring healthy relationship. But inside what their belief system actually is that I am a doormat. And I am not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not loving, and nobody's going to love me. So that's why I have to do something to please people. And I have to show them that I'm so happy and so joyful and so cheerful, while actually I'm dying inside. And then these same people come and complain, I try everything, I've done everything, and why everybody is treating me like a doormat? Because the relationship that you have with yourself is like a doormat. All the focus is going on into pleasing other people rather than dealing with yourself, loving yourself, allowing yourself to, allow all of the emotions to come and go away, this trauma to get processed, be with yourself. The attention that other people could not give you, you today give yourself that attention, that acceptance, that love, that trust, that confidence, that compassion, that empathy that you have for yourself. So that's why we say that the first step to bringing that in your life. So let's suppose, according to law of attraction, I have a very poor relationship with myself, and let me think that I start blabbering that, oh, I have such healthy relationships. I have healthy relationships, healed relationships. I attract right kind of people in my life. But what is actually going on inside me? I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. So there is a resistance. There is a resistance that's happening. There is a constant mismatch of vibration. Because we are forcing ourselves to think that I deserve healthy relationships, but the inner subconscious mindset is what? I don't deserve healthy relationships. And so actually what we are doing, we are using law of attraction not to get those things. We are using law of attraction because abhi ka jo hai na, wo acha nahi lag raha hai. What we have right now is not good. We are unhappy. And if what right now is unhappy and not good, what life is going to present to you? The same thing. That's what law of attraction is. What is happening inside you is exactly what is manifesting outside of you. And that's why when we start doing all of these practices, be it affirmations, visualizations, and so on and so forth, all of these techniques, they may be working wonderfully in many different areas of your life. They worked wonderfully for me in many different areas of my life. For an example, relationships. I never had trouble manifesting relationships in my life. But the same thing did not work for me in all of the other areas of my life. Why? Because in terms of relationships, I had a different kind of trauma. So manifesting relationship was not hard, but manifesting the right kind of relationship was hard. And that there comes a different story that, again, coming from the traumatic background, we have these subconscious beliefs where we see red flags as green flags and vice versa, and we continue to attract toxic people in our life. So all of these things worked for me in that area, but in other areas, it did not work for me. Plus, another important point. If the awareness is not present, awareness of who you are, where you come from, where are you going, what life is made up of, and an expanded view of life, manifestation, first of all, is going to take tons of efforts. पहली चीज तो हम 2 साल तक बैठ के एफर्मेशंस ब्लैबर कर सकते हैं, तब जाके हो जाएगा मैनिफेस्ट, नॉट अ बिग डील. हाँ, पहली चीज तो बहुत एफर्ट्स लगते हैं. दूसरी चीज, टेलिंग यू फ्रॉम माय ओन पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस एंड एग्जांपल, वी एंड अप मैनिफेस्टिंग रॉन्ग थिंग्स again coming from the wounded space, which do not end up giving us any happiness. Because the core was dirty, the core itself was dirty. The core was not cleansed, the core was not made clear. The garbage was still there, and we were manifesting from the garbage space. So what we were getting was the garbage back. So that's how these things are connected to each other. Okay, I have been speaking from like almost half an hour, guys. I hope these pointers that I've given to you are useful to you guys. So, Akarma, anything you would like to add in case I've missed anything? I was just intuitively talking.
No, nothing right now that comes to my mind. I think we can ask questions to people. So let's hear what others think so far.